Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for inviting me for delivering a keynote address as part of the session on ease of doing business for risk mitigation in the infrastructure. So, because everyone sitting out here is more keen about what the India's infrastructure story is all about and where are we heading to. And I've just heard few of the sessions in which they're talking about government always tell you what to do, but they don't tell you how to do it. So I think I'll be able to tell you in brief how to do it and what all the government is doing for the purpose of speeding up the entire infrastructure story of the country. And a very warm welcome to all my co-panelists. I'm sorry I will not be able to stay back with this esteemed panel because of some paucity of time and the session running late. So I'll move on immediately after this session, and if there is any question, I'll be free to answer them. So first of all, let me start with where as a country we stand. So India is already an economic powerhouse. We have the 5th largest economy in the world as of now. We are the largest growing economy in G20 countries. We are the largest smartphone data consumer. We are the first in global fintech adopter. We are the second in terms of global retail index. We are the second largest internet subscriber base. We are the 3rd largest startup ecosystem with more than 100 unicorns already in place. We are the 3rd largest consumer market, and we are the 3rd largest economy by virtue of purchasing power parity. So this is where we stand as a country, and definitely the way and the speed with which the infrastructure story is unfolding, I'm pretty sure that we will rise up to top 3 positions in futures to come. So because the topic which has been assigned to me is with regard to PM Gati Shakti, as we all are aware, since morning everyone must have spoken about PM Gati Shakti. So PM Gati Shakti, as we all know, was launched by Honorable Prime Minister on 13th October 2021. This is a national master plan which has been prepared for providing multimodal connectivity to various economic zones which are already in place and the economic zones which will be coming up in future. So everyone understands PM Gati Shakti only as a portal, and as a portal for the purpose of planning, for the purpose of digitizing, for the purpose of georeferencing, for the purpose of using geospatial, and starts preparation of DPRs, feasibility studies, analysis, etc., etc. But nobody, I think to my mind, understands the kind of hard work which has gone inside PM Gati Shakti and the National Master Plan, and what all has been mapped as part of PM Gati Shakti portal. So I'll just give you a brief synopsis about what all has been embedded as part of PM Gati Shakti National Master Plan and what value does it serve when we will be using it as a tool for the purpose of planning a future infrastructure. So as a country, we were having around close to 91,000 kilometers of the road network by 2014-15. We rose to close to 133,000 kilometers of the road network in 2021. And the target is to achieve by 24-25, 200,000 kilometers of road network, which means that the development which we have done since independence till 2014-15 was 91,000 kilometers, which includes national highways, expressways, and other roads. While the entire road network is going to have a double jump, which is 2x of road network which we were having in a period of less than 10 years. So this is how the infrastructure story as well as the road network is concerned is going to unfold. And this is not just the numbers. So this is not just 91,000 vis-a-vis 2 lakh kilometers. Every project which comprises this additional 10,000 kilometer, every project, its stage, its monitoring, its land acquisition status, DPR status, financing status, approval status from the cabinet under Bharatmala project, approval at the level of NHAI board, etc. All that has been mapped as part of PM Gati Shakti. And the performance of every single project is being monitored using PM Gati Shakti as the tool. Similarly, railways, we were handling close to 6,000 metric tons of traffic in 14-15, which rose to around 1,210 metric tons, and the target is to have 1,600 metric tons of the cargo handling capacity in the railways, which is around 1.5x jump in the railway sector. Power, we were having around 3 lakh circuit kilometers, which rose to around, we just double it by 50%, 4,25,000. And by 24-25, we will be having close to 4,54,000 circuit kilometers of the power transmission network, which is again a jump of 1.5x. New and renewable energy, 14-15, we were 35 gigawatts. As of now, we are standing at close to 90 gigawatts, and by 24-25, we will be jumping to 225 gigawatts, which is 7x of the installed capacity of renewable energy in the country. And again, I am for the heck of repeating it, that these are not just the numbers of the targets for the purpose of glorifying the whole presentation, but every project which comprises this has been mapped, and the monitoring of individual projects against this is being done on a very regular basis. Similarly, for civil aviation, 14-15, we were standing at 74 airports, which rose to 127, which includes your aerodromes, your heliports, your airports, Udan airports, and the airports in the hilly regions. 24-25, we will be targeting 220, which is again a 3x jump. Petroleum, natural gas pipeline, 15,000 kilometers, rose to 17,500, and we will be more than doubling it to 34,500 with the natural gas pipeline. Shipping, ports, we were at 65 airports, rose to 69, and by 24-25, we'll be having 75 major and minor ports. National waterways, we started with National Waterway 1, 2, and it rose to 16, and now 24-25, the target is to have 18 national waterways, so the rivers can be leveraged and the transportation can be done using those river network. Telecommunication, very interesting. Number of the Gram Panchayat connected with the OFC network were around 60. In 2021, we connected more than 1,51,000 Gram Panchayats, and by 24-25, 2,50,000 Gram Panchayats will get connected. Just to give you a size and scale, every single village of the country will get connected to an optic fiber network by December 23. Every single village means you are able to provide them e-medicine, you are able to provide them e-education, you are able to provide them e-learning. Everything will be available at the village level. Length of the OFC network, we were having around 11 lakh kilometers, which rose to 25 lakh kilometers, and by 24-25, we will be having 35 lakh kilometers of the OFC network in and around the country, including the high sea network to Andaman and Nicobar. Moving forward, since October 2021, what all has been done, I have tried to capture in one slide, rather than telling you the same structure and the story about how it will work and what are the layers, etc. So 23 central ministry portals have been created as sub-portals of the master portal of PM Gati Shakti, which means if Ministry of Road Transport has to plan, has to make a DPR for a road sector project, they can do that using the layers of other ministries. For example, the layers of Ministry of Environment Forest, to know whether the road alignment is passing through any sensitive zone, whether the road alignment is passing through any bird sanctuary or any wildlife sanctuary, whether the land acquisition will be possible, not possible, whether it is a government land or it is a private land. So all that planning can be done by individual ministries using their respective portals, and all 23 central ministries have come on board and developed their own portals for speedily utilization of the whole Gati Shakti portal. The training and capacity building of more than 5,000 state and central government officers has already taken place. Close to 1,500 odd layers, including the digital revenue maps of the states, has been loaded onto the Gati Shakti portal. 900 central layers and close to 638 state layers has been loaded. 98 projects has been evaluated using this network planning group, which is the second layer of PM Gati Shakti administrative machinery. 196 critical connectivity projects, the projects which provides last mile connectivity either to the port or to a SEZ or to any other economic zones. Those projects has been prioritized so that the last mile connectivity for the purpose of ensuring the smooth travel of imports as well as exports can be taken care of. The central ministries and states have started using the National Master Plan as part of their planning exercise. 1,300 issues has already been resolved so far using the PMG. 81 high-impact projects has already been recommended for approval using this methodology, and all states have been onboarded onto the PM Gati Shakti National Master. So this is, in a nutshell, a brief synopsis about the work which has taken place in last 1 year, since 30th October 2021 till today. Each one of them can be explained for another half an hour. So in the paucity of time, I'll just move forward. As part of my original mandate, government has mandated our organization in ICDC to develop new industrial cities. So we are developing 11 industrial corridors in the country, covering the length and breadth, covering from north to south, east to west. Only the connections in the northeast part of the country as well as the central India is not there, for which the different feasibilities are presently underway. All these cities are completely greenfield, and they are built up from scratch, right from the land identification, master planning, preliminary engineering, environment clearance, and laying down the infrastructure. Everything is started from ground up. First city which we have already developed is Dholera Special Investment Region in Gujarat. And as you see, we've put a lot of emphasis on multimodal connectivity in every city which we develop. So before coming of PM Gati Shakti also, the USP of our cities is multimodal connectivity. So for example, Dholera, when I visited for the first time in 2010, the travel time from Ahmedabad airport to Dholera used to be 3 hours. Right now it takes 2 hours, 15 minutes to Dholera. And at present, NHAI is in the process of constructing a 6-lane expressway right from Ahmedabad to Dholera, where the travel time will get reduced to 90 minutes. So a dedicated 6-lane expressway connecting Ahmedabad to Dholera, a greenfield international airport which is under construction, a railway connection which will connect it to the DFC network and to the other Western Railway network, which will give access to Mundra, Pipavav and Kandla ports. So connectivity to ports, connectivity to airport, connectivity by road, connectivity by rail. This is the USP before we start building and selling a city. The infrastructure is up and running. You can see there was a land which is falling under the coastal regulated zone. So we have allotted that land to Tata Solar Power, utilized that wasteland because no other development was permitted out there. And Tata Solar has already commissioned. This is the real photo of 300 megawatt of a solar park already commissioned in the coastal regulated zone. Close to 4 plots have been allotted, around 244 acre, attracting an investment of more than 5,000 crores. And similarly, we have a city in Maharashtra, which is Aurangabad Industrial City. Shendra Bitkin is the name of the place. It is a twin city, 8.5 square kilometer on the top, which is Shendra, and Bitkin is 32 square kilometer. We have allotted, this is how the infrastructure looks like. Whatever we construct, everything is underground. The entire city can be managed, controlled by sitting in one central command and control center. All utilities are ICT controlled, fully serviceable ducts can be utilized for servicing and running a golf cart for the purpose of servicing those utilities. And it is future-proofed and being planned considering a time horizon of 40 to 50 years. So we have not only started the allotment of industrial plots out here, but we have, some of the companies have actually started the commercial production, and more than 179 plots has been allotted in this place. 12 companies have gone into commercial production, and around 45 companies are in the process of constructing their factories. This is a smaller project of 750 acres, Greater Noida. Again, a lot of emphasis on the connectivity by way of putting it connectivity to Eastern and Western dedicated freight corridor, connectivity to Yamuna, Eastern Peripheral Expressway, Noida, Greater Noida Expressway, connectivity to the Western Railway network and the Eastern Railway network, etc. So here also the infrastructure works are up and ready. Not only that, companies have taken up the plot. The gestation period was too small. The handholding from our side was till the end. Hire a Chinese manufacturer of electronic appliances. They have already constructed the factory, which is on the right, started the production of refrigerators, the second unit of manufacturing air conditioners, and the washing machine is under process. 6 plots have been allotted. Again, 5,000 crores of investments have been attracted in this area. Another township project, Vikram Udyogpuri, center of the India, which is in the state of Madhya Pradesh between Ujjain and Devas. A lot of emphasis again on providing multimodal connectivity of rail, road, port, airport. And here also the infrastructure works are ready. Close to 20 plots have been allotted, attracting an investment of nearly 200 crores. Just a snapshot and a summary of what I have stated so far. And these are completely plug-and-play infrastructure. And I would come to the main topic of how it is promoting ease of doing business as part of my last slide. But before that, I just want to summarize here, as far as the industrial corridor program is concerned, we are working on 11 corridor projects, 32 cities to be developed in 4 phases. Close to 209 industrial plots have been allotted. close to 165 acres of land has been sold. Nearly 2,700 acres of land, industrial land, is available for immediate allotment with complete plug-and-play infrastructure, and around 2,500 acre of land for residential, commercial, and other uses. Another project which we have recently delivered is Unified Logistics Interface Platform, that is also under the overall umbrella of PM Gati Shakti, in which we are targeting how to ease out the logistics situation in the country, how to bring down the cost of logistics, how to make India cost competitive and globally competitive. So as part of this project, this Unified Logistics Interface project was recently launched by the Honorable PM on 17th of September this year itself. Earlier, we have been doing a logistic data bank project in which we are tracking and tracing the movement of every single EXIM container in the country. So let me tell you in this way, any container cannot come out of the port without an RFID track which is being put up by us. So any container which you see, any EXIM container which you see in the country will definitely have our RFID tag, and we track the movement of the container right from the point of the origin till the point of its final destination. So far, we have tracked close to 51 million EXIM containers till date. Our KPI is not 99%, it's 100%. We cannot leave a single container moving out of the port without our RFID tag. So we cover 17 container handling ports, covering close to 27 terminals. We are present at more than 60 plus toll plazas, 200 plus CFS, ICDs, and MTRs. And this number is continuously increasing. I think this number, by the time I'll come to speak next, will be double. 9 special economic zones, 3 border integrated checkposts of Nepal and Bangladesh, and more than 2,500 plus rail and DFC stations. Our systems has already been integrated with the voice system of the railways, port community system of Indian Port Association, and terminal operating systems of all the ports across the country. 19 plus 100 RFID readers has already been employed, and close to 210 readers are under the process of getting deployed. By 30th of October, we will deploy 210 more. 51 million plus containers has been handled till date. In order to take forward the journey of logistic data bank, what we were not doing in LDB was we were not tracking domestic, we were not tracking coastal, we were not getting inside the box, we were not knowing what is there, whose product is there, who is the exporter, who is the importer. We were not tracking the packets, we were not tracking the carrier. So all that we have started doing as part of Unified Logistics Interface Platform. The screen which you see, these are the number of systems which are independently running in our country, which is handling logistics. So we have under Ministry of Ports, we have port community system run by Indian Port Association, we have terminal operating system. So Adani ports run on a different software. Your PSS Singapore runs on a different software, DP World runs on a different software, government ports run on a different software. So there are so many terminal operating systems. Inland waterways have their own system similar to terminal operating system, and we have NLP Marine. Similarly, under civil aviation, Bombay, Hyderabad, Bangalore airport runs on one system, Delhi airport runs on another system, 26 airports of Airport Authority of India runs on a system managed by I-Class. Ministry of Commerce Industry, DGFT, Importer-Exporter Code, Road Transport Highway, Vahan Sarthi runs under M-Parivahan. Then we have FASTag under NPCI, METI, we have DigiLocker for the purpose of eKYC, Railways, we have Freight Operation System, Finance, we have Customs, IceGate System, eWaybill for GSTN, and other sources of information is LDB, which is our project, and partner government agencies, and then the National Master Plan, which is Gati Shakti. So what we have done as part of ULIP, Unified Logistics Interface Platform, we have integrated all these of them. Whatever you see as part of the green boxes, all that has been integrated by way of developing APIs, by way of having more than 1,600 field coverage under one system. So in a layman's term, what I can say is, we have created the UPI of the logistics sector. So eventually, maybe after 2 years or 3 years down the line, every single transaction under the logistics sector, either by road, rail, port, airport, or any other mode, irrespective of number of handshake points, irrespective of number of touch points, will get authenticated, verified, transacted, or visualized using ULIP. NLP Marine is under development. The moment it is up, we will be more than happy to integrate, and our discussions with eWaybill and PGA is currently on. So ULIP comprises close to 30 systems, 7 ministries, more than 1600 fields, covering more than 100 APIs, now talking to each other at a single platform. So this is what I wanted to bring in as part of the theme of this particular session, that how government is promoting. Now I think I'm able to answer what, rather than telling what, but how government is promoting ease of doing business, and not only ease of doing business, but ease of living also. So in terms of layers, these are the layers which comprises of ULIP, which is integration and governance layer, which we have developed, but we are promoting a lot of private sector players to come up and develop their own presentation layers, just like you have Google Pay, Airtel Pay, Paytm, Phone Pay. Come, leverage the ULIP APIs and develop your own presentation layer, develop your own application layer for the purpose of providing benefits to your end customer, and it can be a customized solution which is required by your end customer. So we are not getting into the presentation layer directly. We have developed 5 apps which is ready to use, but we are directly not developing more apps. We are inviting more and more private sector companies to do that. More than 25 companies have already onboarded and developed their own presentation layers. So it will give benefits to all these enterprises. And last but not the least, how does we promote ease of doing business? As far as the industrial corridors are concerned, the entire land bank which we have either in these 4 cities or another 28 cities which we will be developing, the entire land bank is digitized from day 1. We have an e-land management system for land allotment. There is no human intervention. You need not to come, meet someone, apply, submit. Everything has to be submitted online. Even your building plan approvals after getting land allotment will be submitted online, and you will get a letter on your email. There is no human intervention as far as required unless and until you want it to be. There is a complete plug-and-play infrastructure, and that is how we are promoting ease of doing business, single window clearance. So we will act as your ambassador to take clearances from 20 different departments downstream. So that way, every SPV of ours is a single window. For example, under ULIP is a single window, and at the back end, it is fetching information from 20 different systems of different ministries. In terms of utilities, all are ICT controlled. You can watch it, your utilization of water, power, energy usage, etc. on your mobile phone. And in terms of logistics, if I say about with LDB and ULIP, there is complete transparency and visibility which will help any consumer or any user to take an informed decision. Thank you so much. I'll end my presentation by quoting the words of Honorable Prime Minister, which say that I say this with full confidence. This is the best time to be in India. In today's India, many things are rising and many are falling. Ease of doing business is rising, so is ease of living. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Chaudhary.
What a powerful and one power impact presentation. Thank you so much, Abhishek, for bringing almost whatever we have discussed from morning. A lot of questions were answered in the presentation. The way it has been designed and the way the infrastructure and the system for monitoring has came up, I'm hopeful that both our starting of the day and ending keynote address has brought everyone on the same pitch that we are going to completely focus on the infrastructure, and not only in the infrastructure which is physical in terms of benefit, but also in terms of liquidity from the economic side, monitoring, tracking and other things. So I would not hold you back. It is a pleasure having you here with us, and I'm sure a lot of people would have a lot of questions, but in interest of time, we would ask our panelists, if you have any question from Abhishek, anything which comes in your mind, we can take one question. Anything. We have our microphones in front of you.
I'll go first. Hi, Abhishek, Sandeep here. There's a lot that we actually heard about the partnership model, in terms of promoting PPP. In fact, coming out with a version 2. Now, all these projects and the massive capex that we are talking of, just wanted to get your thoughts that how is the government thinking about, getting the private sector to engage and reaffirm, the confidence in terms of doing capex, because most of this capex will be greenfield in nature. So just wanted to get your thoughts on this.
I'll just take this question in a different way altogether. To my mind, I am a firm believer that there is no paucity and there is no party of funds in the country. And it's only the party of well-structured projects. Either as government or as the private sector, we keep on putting up the project into the market without carrying out the due diligence, without assuring land, without assuring environment clearance, without structuring the project to its fullest. So I think if the project is structured well, either it is the financial institutions or bilaterals or the multilaterals of the world, they will be more than happy to put in money, and it is also for the private sector to put in money. And second thing is that it's very important for the government also and also for the private sector to understand and appreciate that private sector is not there for the charity. If private sector is putting in money for any project, they are expecting certain amount of basic minimum IRR, which will definitely, because the amount of risk which they are taking is enormous. So unless and until the calculation of the risk and return is done in a proper manner, the financing will always remain a question mark. But again, I will reiterate that financing for a well-structured and very thoughtful project is not an issue at all.
Abhishek, thank you. Thanks for the wonderful presentation and telling about the Gati Shakti and ULIP. It's one amazing job. My one question is, you said that e-way bill had to be integrated with ULIP. What I believe, when I was getting the fast tag from an HAI, unless you bring the e-way bill into the ULIP, that's not going to serve the purpose, it's not going to reach to the masses. And that time also we felt it was one of the challenging, and I think you people are still thinking. So I won't take much time, just I want your, when do you expect it will be on this?
What you're saying is absolutely correct. I can't commit a date on when the integration process will get completed. It is being deliberated at the highest level in the country right now. But what we have done, without even having the API from the e-way bill, we are using the part B of the e-way bill, which is generated as a PDF file for any manufacturer whenever the goods move out of the factory. We have created an API toolkit whereby you have to just drag your PDF file of part B onto my app. And from that part B, my app using the optical character recognition will extract 5 information and the 5 fields, which is source, destination, HSN code, and accordingly create a trip within the system on the basis of which you will be able to track and trace. So we have already created a bypass of that system till the time API is in place.
All of you must be very, I must say, enthusiasm would not be right word, but must be touched with the kind of deepness and kind of detailing which Mr. Chaudhary has given. Before we see of him, I must quote our last interaction at IIT Delhi, when after a long steering committee and working group meeting, we came out with a requirement for MSME sector that when somebody is sending a packet or a material from one part of the country to a global nation, would it be possible for us to have a proper and very precise information about the logistic cost which we will be paying? And within a month, the ULIP, when it was in September only, am I right? So in September only when it came, I think all integration of e-way bill, GST, toll and customs, central excise, all of them can be calculated in real-time manner, and it will bring a different level of delivery, solution and lucidity to do business in India. So thank you so much, Abhishek, for your time, for energy. Let me felicitate you, and then a big round of applause for the wonderful keynote address. I think last session is going to be a very impactful session with 4 of my heavyweight panelists. Whatever we have heard now is infrastructure, but when it comes to using that infrastructure, it also comes with a couple of negative impact of it. Sadak bana dena or sadak ke upar chalna. When it becomes very smooth, the accidents also increases in the same manner. So, Mr. Srivastava, I'll start with you. That how do you look at these infrastructure and what are the threats which it comes with? And is there any risk which we are also getting exposed to when we are creating an infrastructure which is giving high speed, but at the same time, from the material side also and from the life side also, we are exposed to a risk which is not matching with the kind of economic and lifestyle which we pose to you. So you have been heading World Economic Forum 2.1 road safety model, road safety initiative, and you have been doing a detailed work, detailed research on it also. Everyone would be very, very happy and keen to understand this from you, that when it comes to risk of material and life, how does infrastructure plays a role and technology comes in the picture?
Thanks, Abhishek, for Abhijit raising for this wonderful. In fact, this is a very relevant question you asked. Making infrastructure is the one thing. Using this infrastructure in a risk-free way is another. And unfortunately, the road accidents, the road, which it has been a very painful area, and you keep on listening, Honorable Minister, very perturbed, is disturbed with the rising number of road accidents. This year, in 2021, when we got this report issued by the National Crime Bureau, the highest number of road accidents took place in the country, almost close to 1.56 lakhs. And the surprising fact is the economic impact of these accidents, apart from the loss of human lives, is something around 2% of the GDP. It's around 40 billion US dollar, equivalent to 40 billion, which is a huge money. So if you are denting the economy by making, because of road accidents, by nearly 2%, probably the impact of positivity we are creating by building infrastructure is getting dented. It's not reaching to that true potential to the people. Second thing is the humanistic. If you talk economically, it's in fact taking us down. We make infrastructure, we are supposed to increase our GDP by 2 to 3% by making new road or expressway, but we are denting it by 2% and probably we are just balancing it out. And then the misery is added to the human lives which are lost. Majority of the people are between the age of 18 years to 45 years. They are 60%. And if you take it to 54 years, the prime working age, then this goes to 70%. So nearly more than 3/4 people are dying on the road, coming from a mostly poor economic background or single breadwinner for the family. So that's another part. So to address this, a lot of programs are being run. Ministry of Road Transport is very actively trying to pursue it. Unfortunately, things are not taking, yielding a good result, which is evident that in spite of all in past decade, we lost something around 13 lakh people on Indian roads.
13 lakh people?
Yeah, exactly. By the time at every 4 minutes, one life is lost on Indian road. So we are talking here since almost 40 minutes, probably 10 people might have died somewhere in the country itself on the roads. That's a very, it's a serious issue.
At times I have also heard our Honorable Minister of Road Transport and Highway as a very area of concern that road safety has been and the kind of infrastructure he wished to give to the country, it does not match in that. So what do you see as a solution? How and what we can do as a country to keep these infrastructure safe for the material and for the life?
Yeah, exactly. So coming to what can be the solution, the problem is well known. The conventional solutions are not giving the desired result. What we came up with backing of World Economic Forum is the next generation road safety solution. We call it Road Safety 2.0. These solutions are technology driven. India as it is, you have seen the Gati Shakti, the ULIP, Abhishek gave a wonderful, impactful story, how digitization is changing the monitoring and building of infrastructure. And the same way, we try to imbibe technology into the road safety and see how it impacts. Fortunately, the impact has been wonderful. During the pilots which we did, I will just share one pilot which we did, where we tried to do enforcement using a safe driving score. One of the biggest things, how can you improve the road safety is by good enforcement. The same Indian, when we go to the US or any European country, we follow all the traffic rules. The moment we land up here, we consider probably we are in a la la land, you keep on over speed, do anything, nothing happens. So the enforcement has to be very strict. That's the one thing. Unfortunately, though enforcement has to be automated because our population is huge, the density is very high. So it has to be automated. That's a little costly. So we came up with the solution. Till the time we implement camera on all the highways, all the roads, let's do something enforcement, something like a safe driving score, where every driver who have a driving license, while he is on the road, he generates safe driving score for safe driving. So if he drives say 100 kilometer, he scores 60 points. And these points, the moment he overspeeds, the points are deducted. He drives jerky, a lot of brakes, points are deducted. He drives continuously beyond 2.5 hours or 4 hours.
Very interesting.
Then road hypnosis takes place.
So it's like somebody having a credit score and which depends on your driving, how you're driving on the road.
Exactly. So something like CIBIL score.
I think a lot of people in Delhi will go negative. If you implement it quickly, particularly if you go to Noida side or the suburb side and around NCR, a lot of people will immediately lose their driving license. So I'll come back to you. I want to keep this interesting for our viewers. I have two more questions, but before this, I want to come to you, Sandeep, because you are into profession of advisory into infrastructure. When it comes to increased cost of infrastructure, when you add camera or we'll add some technical devices, the cost inside the city or maybe cost on the highways also will increase. So at the other side, when we are trying to decrease the cost, make the infrastructure more doable and viable and do more and more roads per day, how do you look at it that we have to put up some more money, more bucks on these highways? What is your take on it?
Well, when you are developing these assets,
Okay, this is fine. So, Abhijit, when we are developing these assets and infrastructure assets, may have a life of 25 years, 30 years. While you are talking of, urban infrastructure projects, there may be also projects which are being developed for a 30, 40-year kind of a horizon. I think there are three things which are very important. One, the development has to be sustainable. It has to be value accretive. And it has to be economically viable at any point in time. All these three things put together, there are two elements to it. One is the economic viability. The point that you're making, I think, has to be seen from an economic viability aspect. The financial viability may or may not be there for the additives that we are, talking of in terms of adding, and that should be bridged with some form of grant or support coming from the government. As long as these are assets which are being created on a sustainable format and the added elements that you just talked about, which may be actually going beyond the conventional limits, I think these are certainly aspects which should be looked into, and to some extent it should be bridged from the government's kitty. So that's the way I would see it.
A lot of infrastructure hybrid models who are coming, who are replacing BOT, TOT, and now EPC is also very less used. HAM came in 2016, and then NUT hybrid e-mobility, which is for converting a highway into e-highway. So how do you look at these new infrastructures, particularly the financing model or hybrid model, when they come into existence? How can we reduce the time and the ice breaking which we waste? It takes a lot of time to come on that model. How do you suggest?
Well, very relevant and pertinent question. I think we have to also see that we are going through an evolution where there are, certain changes which are happening on the financing trends. 2010, 2011, 12, I remember, 90% of the projects were coming on BOT format, only 10% was coming on EPC because we had that kind of a financial ecosystem. Perhaps, the government has done the right thing. From 2015-16 onwards, they've changed the model to hybrid. And that is essentially a deferred EPC model. The reason for that was that large part of the capex which was expected to come from the private sector was not really coming, because of the glitches or the issues that we were facing. Hybrid model is a very, very relevant model today and a much improvised one. Over a period of time, over the last 4 years, we have improvised it. I feel, this is a model that we should be capitalizing it beyond the road sector. We've already seen that water projects, sewage projects are also being, pushed on a hybrid annuity model. And perhaps, BOT will take some time in terms of taking off. Today, in this era, we are actually talking of an era where in the road sector, which is seeing the maximum action, 95% of the projects are coming on hybrid or EPC. So this is just a trend reversal.
So in interest of time, I'll jump to Shivam. You come from capital market, you know how funds move, how people take decisions of viability, and from your side, what Sandeep has added to that, we were expecting certain amount of money coming from private sector in the infrastructure. It did not came the way. How do you see that these kinds of obstacles would destroy any of the new models? We are talking today, NHI become a model, then NHI has recently made InvIT, right, a new model. How do you see that, how we can mitigate these kind of risks, which can be very fatal, very difficult for economy to survive?
So I think it's very important that when a certain project is being tendered, the scope of the project is very well and clearly defined. In order to ensure that potentially bidders and financial investors look through the entire scope, the detailed scope in the bid, and factor and make their returns according to the scope. I think coming to your point, Abhijit, I think the BOT model in the road sector was of course a great success. However, I think due to land acquisition related issues, a lot of these projects face challenges. On the hybrid annuity side as well, I think while the model has been a great success, the bidding has been very, very competitive, predominantly because the equity contribution has been relatively low. So I think effectively to make it more attractive for the private sector and to make the returns more attractive, I think potentially increasing the equity commitment in certain projects could definitely help in making it more lucrative, and a well and clear defined concession agreement which is actually implemented is what will safeguard the interests of financial investors.
So if I look at the procurement model particularly, I would like Mr. Randhir also to join in this, that the kind of technology we are talking about, it is not possible to buy on L1, L2. Now government has also started realizing it. But our dependency on prototypes or pilots or POC, how do we channelize it in a manner that the transparency and accountability remains on the place, still we manage to procure new and emerging technologies? Yeah, because Metro has brought a lot of technology. Sorry, Sanjeev. So, I hope question suits you, or otherwise I can shoot it to Akhilesh sir. It is okay?
I can answer the things regarding in perspective of a financer or modeling.
No problem. We'll come back to you.
Yeah. So
you have done wonderful work in NHI. You will be able to take this.
Obviously, the question is very relevant. We have to promote innovation in innovative technology, and there has to be some advantage to the people who are innovating. So there are many couple of ways how it is done. If you ask just a pilot and then go with a normal tender, the pilot has created the person who invested into the pilot. If it is a pure open tender, probably they may not get that news. So there is a process which is called Swiss challenge method. That's the one. But Swiss challenge doesn't suit for smaller projects. If it is a large project or a time-consuming project, the Swiss challenge is one of the best way, where you innovate and you get 10% margin while bidding as a first mover or who has done this. That's one way. Second is, the government has already now come up with the QCBS kind of thing, where even the procurement, the hiring the contractors for execution, that can also be not purely on L1 basis, but it can be done on the basis of quality and the technical capabilities both. So in this technical capability, if somebody has done pilot, some extra marks can be given. Okay. So that can be one facilitator. And this is the way
you have brought a lot of new emerging technology in your tenure with NHI. What is the main problem which sluggish the onboarding of emerging technology which you have faced in your period?
I will say, whenever we come with any new technology, the problem is the adoption at the ground level, at the absolute base level. When you, for example, say a new material has come up, this has not been tested in India, let's say, then there is a resistance from the project management consultant, maybe authority engineer or independent engineer. They still go with the contract or the specification mentioned in the contract. I mean, the liberty is there. The government is very clear. A lot of policies are there, encourage new technology, but that mindset has to change, and that's changing. I'll not say during my time I saw in a few years, and now the adoption of technology, I say authority engineers, they themselves recommend that you go with the latest technologies. But then this is a challenge. Still,
We'll come back to you for one more question, sir. But Sanjeev, I want you to step in and do let everybody know that these kind of innovative projects, when we are doing a project up ahead of what every industry has been doing, how do you look at financing them? How do you look at the, from the finances point of view?
See, finances. Yeah. The financer look for two things. One is return, and another is security, and they only trade in between them.
I come from banking background. I'll try to later.
So the technology, whenever the technology is giving certain increased certainty of the project execution or the returns or the consistency of the returns, financiers always welcome them. That's why you very confidently people are saying that there's no dearth of finance. So financiers are always there to adopt any technology which convinces them that it will give a proper return, a smooth return, and there will be margin. Only thing is, I wanted to put in a different way this thing, that financiers have become more wary of security than what they are earning into that in past.
I was about to say that, but
because of the past experience what they had with the BOTs. Nowadays, though finance is available everywhere, but I think our promoter friends and people will know that under construction projects have still not takers, not good takers. The completed projects, there is a complete maramari for these type of loans. And financiers are sacrificing returns and trading this security on behalf of that. Because of failure of the BOTs and that HAM, what we have been discussing for that. Fortunately, I have been part of development of that concession agreement also when I was in NHI with Akhilesh sir. So I think this is not a deferred EPC. It's a completely an EPC. Government is paying for every bill for that, later or earlier.
So if I put it this way, that
financing becomes
is
difficult.
also requiring a certain type of reforms, the way it look at security, the way it look at the conventional.
Yes, and I feel that too much interference of the regulators, making regulations regarding NPAs, defaults, make financiers difficult to take risk. Though they are willing to take this, they are willing to structure the project.
So regulations are to an extent eating the risk appetite.
Yes, the risk appetite is also there, but the perceived risk appetite is not there because of the regulations, provisioning norms, capital provisioning, all that. So financiers are always stuck whenever they want to fund anything, taking extra risk even for technology, because support from authorities or government is there for technology, is there for promoter, but not there for financiers.
It's going in a very right direction, our conversation.
I'll just give an example of a simple, the contract modeling, like dead due. They write it dead due, but dead due is being defined in different places in different way and by different persons. And there is no definition of dead due. It's a simple term, is provided in any concession agreement.
I know. One of the key areas of ease of doing business concern which you are addressing, I hate doing this, but I have to take a couple of more remarks from closing remarks, in fact, in interest of the time, Sandeep. Very quickly, that you heard technology, you heard, advice, you come from advisory, and you heard from capital market and also from the financiers. What is your take on what ease of doing business required in the infra sector at this stage of time?
Well, 2-3 things very quickly.
But very quickly, I want
Yeah,
all
very quickly.
remarks.
So while progressive policies, etc., are more than welcome, I think policy consistency is the key thing which the investors are looking for. And for infrastructure projects, I think it is very, very important that we don't do anything retrospective. Second, of course, is the element of financial discipline from the authorities.
But policy consistency comes with a stable government, which is there, and quite transform type of government. So what else you may have in your wish list?
Well, I think there is always an element of improvement there, as well as the financial discipline part. There are obviously a lot of things that we can do on the bankruptcy part. Bankruptcy law has strengthened the investor confidence, but we are still taking more than 1.5 years to resolve the bankruptcy cases.
Bankruptcy, insolvency is key area where
The time can be reduced.
Time gap. Sir, your closing remark. I want you to close that part also, which you opened very interesting. That if somebody will have a complete structure of the way he's driving and how we are adding technologies to the highway.
Yeah. Check, I will take a few seconds only to close it because I know you're running out of time. The SDS which I was saying is something like civil score. Today people are more afraid of the civil score, more conscious rather I will say, rather than bouncing of a check. Bouncing of check is a cognizable offense. People can be prosecuted criminally.
Right.
But people are more conscious that the civil score should not, because everybody...
Bouncing a check and bouncing a red light would be equal.
It should be.
Right.
But then people are not afraid, like they're not afraid of bouncing of check. Same way they're not afraid of. So something else has to be bought. That's the safe driving score. If the safe driving score is higher, and in pilot we checked and we found that the drivers who were having safe driving score above 30, they were absolutely zero accident.
Right.
And we could reduce accident by 98%. In fact, I will say 10,000 drivers in the pilot who drove roughly around 2 crore kilometers in 6 months. Only 5 minor accidents were reported, and whose scores were high, zero accident. So it's a fantastic, you link SDS with so many transactions which is happening on the road, your fuel, insurance, everything, and create an ecosystem which we are trying to build up. I'm sure SDS can be a game changer. That's the way to enforce the, right, instead of asking for police to do it, because as it is in India, the police is 1/4 of the international global norms.
Right.
So this can be a way till the time we achieve, go with the other ITS solution.
Absolutely, sir. It's a very interesting input which you have given. And moving to Shivam.
Yeah, I think two quick things. One is, sanity and implementation of contracts, because I think there's still a lot of contractual comfort given, but I think when it comes to implementation and arbitration, it's still a long process. And I'd say the second aspect is making, approvals quicker. For example, in case of doing any M&A activity within the infrastructure sector, the approval that's to be sought from the authority and from financiers is a very, very lengthy process, often resulting in 6 months for a transaction to be concluded. So I'd say both of these would certainly help in making business easier to conduct.
Thank you so much. You have 10 extra seconds to tell me what is your prescription or wish list, because you are somebody who has to take care of a lot of problems. And you are saying, I am highly regulated. When you are highly regulated, you will not be able to lend the way you should be lending, particularly the high-tech or emerging tech projects.
See, emerging tech projects or high-tech projects, I'll just give an example. I'll just give an example of EVs. See, EVs are there to flow, but financiers are not available. People complain for that. Though we are ready with finance, we are ready with model, how to finance. The takers are not coming with model. They are not coming with the revenue model which can actually satisfy the lender.
Right.
And particularly for our institution, what I have been working on, EV funding basically, and we have not been able to actually model even a single project in last 2-3 months, which I'm working on to that. That shows that we are ready to accept whatever technology comes and whatever is being sold. The only issue is scale. The moment this will get the scale, financiers will be available. Financiers are moving around to give money because there is a lot of liquidity. Only thing is the assurance of return and the safety of fund, whatever they are lending, the margins.
Absolutely agree with you.
So it's not a thing of being neglected. It's a thing of, say, whenever a financer puts money, when the resolution comes, normally he doesn't get anything out of this insolvency code also.
Correct.
So this ease of business has got normally three stages.
Right.
What I think: the entry, continuation of the business, and then exit.
Exit.
So exit is there for business in insolvency. Exit is there for the authority also in some contracts. Exit is there for the bankers or financiers also, but without any money.
Very, very. I
So
think
that thing has to be hit.
you summarize this so well that somebody who is investing, his prime concern is my asset or the lending is safe or not. And second, on the business model, he has banked. He is going to bring back that money or not. So, anything else you wish to add? Quickly.
Not
Running overshoot of time.
We are already overshooting the time.
So, thank you very much, gentlemen. You had made a very good point, very significant and to the point, because whoever has been listening and people who will be listening us on the YouTube and other channels would be able to see how we have started as a day today and where we have reached, where almost all key areas of concern were very well addressed. And I, on your behalf, can commit to our audience that in Infra Focus Summit, when we are talking about infrastructure, is in the main focus. We are definitely talking about ease of doing business, which is practically possible, which is doable on the ground, and which is scalable. And it has securities also, it has scalability also. I cannot explain projects right now, but I'll definitely tell you a couple of things which ease of doing business is trying to do in each sector. And I think most of my work and most of ease of doing business initiatives has already been covered by Abhishek Chaudhary. So thank you once again, and once again thank you all of you for being wonderful and patient audience, and have a great day. Over to you.